Story 1. My sister and her husband spoke badly about me, 25 female, and my partner, 30 male, in front of the whole family. Recently, I went on a holiday with my partner to his home country. My family went on another holiday to an island. My partner lives in Australia with me and has all his family in Colombia except his brother. His brother lives in Canada and he hasn't seen him for 7 years, his twin brother. My family's trip and his brother returning to South America coincided. I see my family all the time except my sister who lives in Europe, who I saw earlier this year. My partner and I agreed we can go to South America during this time and not go on the family trip my family had, and this year we will travel to Europe to see my sister, the rest of whom I see all the time in my home country. I come back and find out my sister and her husband said at a dinner on their holiday with many family members, mom, brother, cousins, etc., she said, "You should find someone who loves you and doesn't take you away from your family." Her partner then comments, "Like Rick," my partner's name. My brother then proceeds to say, "I'm not married, so I shouldn't possibly put my partner's needs first." I then found out my brother-in-law said on separate occasions, they won't last. He never met Rick and barely knows himself as he lives in Europe. This is hypocritical since my sister moved to Europe and left all her family to be with her loser husband. At this point, I am so angry that they're talking about my partner and I in an open forum. I need advice as to next steps and how if I should confront them. I mean, for one, I will say, you have a right to be upset, but at the same time, families always talk about other stuff, other family members and everything, their lives when they're not there. People talk about people who aren't there all the time. It's a part of life, and I don't necessarily feel like what they're saying is like so out of line as to be unforgivable, but it's kind of crappy. I would definitely talk with them and just say, "Hey, I don't appreciate you saying that. I'm in a happy relationship. You don't know all the details and you don't get to judge." If they're going to keep talking like that, then F them. You know how you prove them wrong? How you show them that what they're saying is crap? Live a good life with him. Be happy. And if they still have a problem with it, then you probably don't want to be around them in the first place. So that's the best advice I got. Otherwise, I wouldn't let it get to you too much. People are always going to say crap. Story 2. A lady steals from me. Joke's on her. She's been poking around for years. She lives across the street. She takes my mail, fruit from my trees, things from my yard. I've caught her multiple times, but she seems to think she has every right. Never enough for me to take legal actions. To be honest, I'm busy as hell these days. One day, she was by my mailbox with her dogs in her pajamas, reading a letter from my bank regarding my small car loan, just standing there, reading glasses on, cigarette in hand, reading it. I confronted her and said opening people's mail is a crime. Not like you have the money to fight it. I thought it was fine. You want to read someone's mail? I'll give you enough of your own to read. There's a religious organization nearby. Not sure if they're a cult or a legit organized religion. They leave notes and knock on doors, that type of thing. I'm always kind enough to them, so I get their propaganda in the mailbox every now and again. I used a VPN to go to their website. They had some type of questionnaire/application thing. I used a fake email address, fake name, but her address. It also wanted a phone number. Her dog comes and craps on my lawn every evening. One night I saw him out there, gave him an unsuspecting pat, and took a photo of the tag on his collar. Scurried back home and redid the application with her address and phone number. I see them come by 4 times a week to her house now, random times, sometimes 7 a.m., sometimes 8 p.m., most weekends. Knocking, leaving massive packs of paper and crap in her mailbox on the porch. I just know they're most likely calling her constantly too. There you go, nosy neighbor. Lots of important scripture to read and keep you busy. Enjoy. I mean, okay, that is definitely a good little prank to pull on her. It'll be a bit irritating. All the extra mail and stuff is pretty easy to just toss in the old recycling bin, so the knocks on the door would be irritating. But I will say this, opening other people's mail is a federal crime. You don't need an amazing lawyer or anything. You can just get some recordings of her doing that. Like, seriously, get yourself a cheap little Ring camera or whatever, set it up to watch that. When she does that stuff, keep your evidence. And then go to a lawyer and be like, find a lawyer who's not going to charge you unless you win or whatever. And be like, I'd like to sue her or I'd like to take her to court. This is a crime. And take her to court. Please, because holy crap, this woman's a piece of garbage. I just hate her. Story 3. Today I effed up by buying a laptop that only works with women, or men if they had a shower or bath before using it. Dear everyone, this post could also be educational for people who work with laptop hardware or services them. Firstly, I need to apologize for my English, as this is not my first language, so some phrases can be wrong just as grammar here and there. So the story started like 4 weeks ago when we decided to buy a new laptop for my wife. I found one at a very popular marketplace, a Dell 7430 i7 16GB model that should be over £600 or $700. This was only £150 pristine condition, and warranty just expired a week ago, but it was advertised as a bit hectic machine. Bought it as I thought, whatever the problem is, I'll fix it. I've worked with hardware for a long time and always found it challenging to find problems, so I thought that would be easy. I went and asked if there was anything wrong with it. She said her husband can't use it as it always turns itself off when he's using it. She never had a problem, and Dell said nothing's wrong with it. She doesn't like to work with his husband, that's all. I thought I had never heard a more stupid explanation for a laptop sale, but whatever, bought it. Took it home, switched on, started installing fresh Windows 11, then a minute later the machine went to sleep mode. I was like, okay, this could happen, so don't worry about it. Carry on installing. 5 minutes later, sleep mode. I start to worry and at the same time started to think what that could be. With all the updates, it took me about 4 hours to finish Windows 11 as the laptop went to sleep about 20 times. Then my wild ride started. I went to have a shower and came back downstairs to polish the system up for my wife, and the machine worked as it should. Finished it all, then handed it to my wife. All went well until Friday evening, 7/21/2023. I sat back to do some work on a charity website. Laptop went to sleep straight away. I was like, what the frap? Wanted to finish the job on, but it kept going to sleep every 2 minutes. Asked my wife if that happened to her too. She said it didn't. So got her to sit down and work on it, and nothing happened. The laptop worked properly without any issue. Then I went there, and 30 seconds later, the laptop went to sleep. Imagine my face. I thought this laptop is sexist as F. I got very confused. I went upstairs, took a shower, came back down. It worked. I am not religious, not a believer. I don't believe in ghosts or flat earth. I love math, physics, so you can imagine how confused I was. Anyway, I finished that job without any glitch. Next morning, I went downstairs to see the lovely laptop that has a soul. Guess what? I started to go to sleep as soon as I approached it. I felt like whenever I hoovered my hand near the shift, I went to sleep. I have updated drivers, deleted keyboard generic drivers, installed specific ones, changed power settings. Nothing worked. Did the same. You know what? I got so confused that evening, I went to take a shower just to please my wife's laptop. Don't laugh. I do. Came back downstairs. Worked. Again. That cannot be a coincidence. More confusion. A lot more. Then I woke up this morning, ignored the bird chirping that came from outside. I have not even fed my spider. There were many questions about my spider. His name is Mr. Bean, and there are 2 pictures of him separately in the comment section. So he was looking at me very grumpy all day today. All I did was storm downstairs, switch the little miserable bastard on, then oh boy, it went to sleep in 1 minute. I was looking at the black screen and saw my face in it as all my confidence and years of experience slowly left my brain through my cloudy eyes along with my soul. This cannot be. This is impossible. So, what can a man do? I went to get a morning bath. I said do not laugh, especially because when I came back, it worked. I've stopped working on this problem and given up, and also started to browse eBay for a Bible and joined the Flat Earthers on Facebook. I am joking, but I probably have never been closer to these before. I did not touch that devil again today, and I went to sleep at 9 p.m. Then suddenly I woke up 2 hours later, just before I wrote this post, and a little light bulb lit up in my head. When I have a shower, I always take my bracelets off, and my bracelet has a tiny magnetic thing on it, but I put it back on every morning. I swirled down without my bracelets, and the laptop worked as it should. I ran back up, put the bracelets on, had to go again, and the laptop started to go to sleep again. There you go. I almost started to worship a laptop, then there it is. Physics! The inglorious thing is that I'm closing the lid when the magnets get close to the sensor. Hope you enjoyed the story as much as I enjoyed squeezing my brain in the past 3 days. Thank you for reading it. That's such a cool story. I I couldn't figure it out. I'm sure maybe some of you more clever folks were able to maybe figure something like this out beforehand, but I mean, it makes sense. There are a lot of laptops that have little magnets to help, like, keep it sealed closed so it doesn't flop open or whatever. And if the laptop uses that to sense when it's closed so it goes to sleep, and you had magnetic bracelets right over that spot, well, could not have seen it coming. What a thrilling ride. I was genuinely expecting for this to just end in the most unsatisfying way possible and for us all to flood the comments with theories, but we actually got the satisfaction of not only an answer, but a scientific answer. Thank you. Story 4. Stepmother keeps a huge pic of my ex in the living room. Backstory. I was previously married to a man. I came out as lesbian 2 years in. Things ended as mutually as possible, but we didn't talk. Divorced for 5 years now. My stepmother apparently never got over it. She keeps a huge framed picture of us dressed up in the living room. I've asked her to take it down many times. In a heated argument, it got knocked off the wall and broke. She charged me for the repair even though she hit it while trying to point at it. Fast forward. Well, I had a wonderful girlfriend about 2 years ago. She was intelligent, funny, quirky, and cute. She begged me for months to meet my parents. We'd been dating for a little over a year and met all my friends and chosen family, but wanted to meet my parents. I explained my past with my stepmother and her tendencies. She understood and stopped asking. Well, long story short, for another post, my stepmother showed up one day, I live 150 miles away, and invited us in person for dinner. I felt obligated to go. When my girlfriend and I arrived, night went as normal as possible, but then girlfriend brought up the picture of my ex and I. It's a good picture. Where was that at? Enter stepmother. She rambled on about how happy we were together and how she, me, was so much more fit back then, and it's a shame things didn't work out for him. It was unbearable. I interrupted and said, "It's late, we have to go." Girlfriend and I gathered our things. "Oh, she always gets so upset about it. It's a part of your past. You need to accept that." Step said as we were packing up, "And I'm a different person now. You live in the past. You have to accept that." Not my best line, but I was upset. Girlfriend and I broke up for her to study in another state, and every girl I date now I'm scared to bring over. It's such an awkward, unbearable, and embarrassing thing to do to your stepdaughter. My dad won't help either. He never gets involved with the topic of removing it. I hate that I can't convince her, and I hate that she rubs it in my face. I wish that picture would just disappear. What a weirdly disrespectful thing for someone to do, especially a parent. I don't care, stepmom, how much you liked that old husband or whatever, and how much you clearly seem to wish that your stepdaughter wasn't a lesbian, but you need to get over that crap because you're 100% pushing her away. And so you're not just at risk of losing your former stepson-in-law, you're at risk of losing a stepdaughter because this person is going to want less and less contact with you if you're going to keep dredging up her past. She can accept her past without needing these reminders, and you going on about, oh, how unfortunate for him. They were so happy together and she was more fit then. Gross. I would have walked out of that dinner immediately and basically blocked your number. That's just a miserable thing to do, and you need to stop. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.